I certainly expected to discover. The clear message that we got back from both our Japanese contacts and the Chinese contacts were that whenever we were talking about air travel, as we did initially, whenever we were talking about life sciences, and whenever especially we started talking about new energy, that there was a very real and palpable interest on the other side of the table. In air travel, as the governor mentioned, I think our conversations with ANA and with Narita were even more optimistic. Not to be Pollyannish about it, it's going to be a competition, but they were more optimistic than I certainly had been led to believe they might be. In bioscience, that's true, and it was most especially true in the renewable energy sector, where every time that subject came up, lights went on the other side of the table. We also ended up with 4 companies, 1 in China and 3 in Japan, where quite specific follow-up is in order and will take place, as the governor mentioned. It's certainly my expectation that not only will we get visitation from the airline and the travel sector back here, but also from bioscience companies and from especially from renewable energy companies, and it will be up to us to go back and see them on their own turf again. So I was frankly more than pleased by the specific areas of opportunities that we found and that we have the chance to follow up on. I would just echo the last thing that the governor said, which is, you know, if you've been in the marketing business in your life, that's pretty much all I've ever done. The one thing you know is that when times are tough, that is the one time you do not stop selling. And that's what we were doing over there. We were trying to sell the fact that Colorado offered a series of opportunities for people to invest in both idea creation and in economic opportunity specifically. And I think we got our message across, or began to get our message across, and built a foundation for what I hope will be a significant growth opportunity for us here, and to benefit back to the people in those 2 countries. Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you also for being here this morning, and I particularly want to thank the governor for leading this delegation. We had an opportunity to see Governor Ritter in action in both of these countries, dealing with opportunities for business, and particularly opportunities with All Nippon Airlines. That opportunity with ANA is something that is so clear, something that we are so excited about, and as the governor has indicated, we have really strong expectations that something good is going to happen about that in the next 18 to 20 months, and we're very optimistic about it. Let me put something in context, if I might. You probably know that Canada is our largest trading partner, then Mexico. What you may not know is that China is our 3rd largest. They this past year had $488 million in exports. Japan is our 4th with $359 million. So when we talk about these 2 countries, we're talking about 2 countries where their exports have exponentially grown each year in the past several years. We're talking about an area for competition with other states. As the governor has indicated, clearly this is a competitive world. We know now is the time that we need to deal with, if we're going to generate jobs here in the United States, and particularly here in Colorado, dealing with those markets. We see opportunity, but we also see enormous competition from other states. The other thing I want to mention that I think is very clear in what we have been about these last several days in these various countries is this, and I want to pick up and underscore what the governor said. It's about persistence and it's about consistency. This trip was actually the 4th trip in the last 13 months to Japan. And it is a very well thought out idea about how do we deal with marketing, how do we deal with tourism, how do we tie in ANA, how do we tie in these other businesses, how do we deal with our opportunities, and Dr. Frank is going to talk about that, with our major research institutions here in signing cooperative agreements to expand our relationships with those institutions of higher learning in Asia. We have had, this is the fourth capstone by the leadership of Governor Ritter to make this opportunity come true. And it's going to require persistence. As the governor indicated, the Chamber, Denver Metro Chamber, signed a cooperative agreement with the Beijing Trade Chamber. That provides us with a footing that now will allow us to expand our areas of opportunity going forward. Our economic development people will be over in Beijing later this spring, dealing with air route opportunities ahead of us. We do see the opportunity now to move forward, moving in the area of bioscience, moving in the area of marketing, and particularly in the opportunities as we see moving ahead with ANA. We come back, I think, as Don Elliman just said, when the market's down, that's when you want to be there. We will be remembered as having come to visit and having come with economic a message of growth at a time when the world and certainly their economies like ours is challenged. But we came to them as partners, and I think we left with great hope and expectation. Thanks.
Good morning. I think the role of research universities in the innovation economy as economic engines is fairly well understood within Colorado, and I think you could see that reflected in the makeup of Governor Ritter's trade mission. Colorado State University, the University of Colorado, and Colorado School of Mines were all well represented. Colorado State University's specific agreements included signings with the National Institute of Radiological Sciences in Japan, Gifu University in Japan, the China Institute of Water Resources and Hydropower Research, and East China Normal University. And these agreements will allow Colorado students more international opportunities, which we know matter in a global economy, and they'll also put together some of the finest scientists in the world, both from Colorado State, but also from partner institutions in Japan and China to work on areas ranging from food safety to atmospheric research, from infectious disease to water resources to laser optics. And we know from experience that when we mix the very best students and the very best scientists, the results, although not always predictable, will really push forward the state of the science. The last point I'd underscore is one that Joe Blake just made. I don't think you can overstate the importance of Governor Ritter's leadership and the involvement of his cabinet in this trade mission. Being a part of this added a certain clarity of focus to the academic discussions that I think help all of us recall and keep foremost the observation that our students and our research has a real impact on the economy, not just in Colorado, but globally. And I know I speak for my colleagues at the University of Colorado and the Colorado School of Mines, as well as ourselves at Colorado State University, when we say that we were very pleased to be a part of this trade mission. Thank you.
Thanks. What do you want to say about the airport discussion since you were part of that?
Sure. Let me join first the chorus of congratulations and thanks to the governor and his team for the tremendous leadership shown on this trip. From a city standpoint, I was on this trip because we understand that the next spoke, very critical spoke in the wheel for making Denver International Airport a world-class airport is this direct link to the Asian market. And Tokyo is the gateway to the Asian market for us. The meetings with ANA were extremely positive. This is the second trip that I've made over to Japan in the last 6 months. I was over in March. And I'll tell you that the conversation from March to the moment that we met with them last week were like night and day. They're extremely positive. They have named Denver as one of the markets, of the 2 markets they're really studying right now. And it will be Denver in the end. I really believe the conversations have been extremely positive. And for them to say that they want to come to Denver to visit, in that culture and in the way they do business was extremely important for us. It's a benchmark that we had to get to. And we're extremely excited about hosting them if and when that time is set, along with the governor's office as well as the city of Denver. This could mean a $100 to $150 million economic impact for Denver, and a tremendous opportunity for the businesses that are here and those that are considering Denver and Colorado, state of Colorado, for partnership and for reestablishing or opening divisions of their business. And so that's why it's important for us to continue to establish ourselves, continue to work on the relationship